Hey everybody, this is Rusty, Mid-Kansas Pole Barns. Hey, I usually don't do videos like this, but I just want to give somebody some help on this. So I've got a 2007 Dodge 3/4 ton diesel with a 5.9 in it. Best truck I've ever had. Matter of fact, I think 5.9 is probably the best engine that Dodge has ever made. I'm sure guys will argue with me, but I've never had a lick of trouble with this truck. So this is one of our work trucks. It's got 325,000 miles on it. Like I said, it's a 2007. So the problem with the 2007s is the fuel relay in the, I want to get this right. It's the TPMS, yes, which is this right here with all the fuses in it. However, Dodge, in their intimate wisdom, over-engineering, they decided that they were going to eliminate the fuse circuit for the fuel relay on it. So it's actually an internal, it's internal on the circuit board that's underneath all this. Okay, so you really cannot fix it unless you buy a $1,500 new TPMS. Okay, so there's a couple good videos out there, some guys that have some 2006s. I want to say 2006 was the last year that they did the fuse on the, and I'm sure they might have changed it now. However, the 2007 and like the 2008s is a problem child for this, having bad fuel relays on it. They typically go out. So there's really no way to, the wiring harness that you have now, there's really no way to just splice that in and fix it. So what I have decided, like I said, there was a couple good videos out there, but it really wasn't the exact same one I needed. There's a couple guys that had a really good idea about doing, taking one of these fuse, they're called a mini add a circuit holder here. So it's just a separate fuse, kind of looks like this. It's a double fuse there, has a little pigtail coming off of it. And I used cavity number, let's see here, cavity number 33, which in the book, cavity number 33 is the power ignition run. Okay, it's a 10 amp. Maybe I'm not supposed to use that. Some guys said use the cigarette lighter, the one that turns on automatically when your truck turns on. I will stress this out though, guys. You do not want to hook it to a fuse that's live all the time, because therefore it's going to run your battery down. So I opted to go with 33. Maybe I'll change that over. All I can do is pop this out and move it to another fuse if I decide that that wasn't the best one to use. But I found one that turns on when the ignition turns on. Okay, so the way I figured out how to do this, instead of spending $1,500 for a brand new TPMS, you know, like the truck has 325,000 miles on it. It's not really worth paying $1,500 for. So, and I will tell you, a lot of guys say that these TPMSs are problems with these 2007s. I replaced this 2 years ago. We had a transfer case shell on this truck going down the highway, and it shredded the wiring harness. So when it shredded the wiring harness, I don't know, it surged, put a surge in here, and it went out. So we put a new one in about 2 years ago. So that kind of tells me that they're really not good anymore, the aftermarkets, if it only lasted 2 years. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff working on it. That's not a problem. However, the fuel circuit relay is a bad deal. And a lot of guys post that on YouTube and stuff about how bad it is. Now, I want to help people out with this, because the way I've decided to go, instead of purchasing a $1,500 unit, I went to AutoZone, and I got this circuit holder here, which is this part right here. It's a mini add-on circuit holder, okay? And then I went, and I don't know if this is the right pigtail for this truck, or matter of fact, I know it's not. This is the one that I came up with because they had it in stock. It's actually the right end for it that hooks into the fuel pump on the tank, but it has this extra one right here. So I think it's for a Dodge minivan. So what I did is I just cut this off right here, and I use this end. Okay, so I kind of learned the hard way. I had to buy another one the other day. I kind of cut it too short, but what I did was drop my tank, because I wasn't quite sure if my pump was working or not. I didn't have any power back on the back end through the wiring harness. And so I finally ended up just deciding to drop my tank, tested all that. I have this really nice power probe, and I would suggest if you're going to do a lot of electrical work, get a power probe. Man, it really helps you out. Just make sure you know what you're doing when you use it. But anyway, so I ran some leads here, just some extra wires up to my ground, because my ground is bad on my wiring harness. And if I can find my other plug, I'll show you. The other plug actually had a burnt tip on it. The original plug did. Here it is, right here on the ground. Okay, so if you can see that one on the right side there, it was burnt. Now that's actually my ground. And I replaced this fuel pump about 3 years ago, and I noticed it kind of had some charred areas on it, but I went ahead and just reused it. Probably should have replaced it then. So anyway, long story short, I decided just to get a new plug and cut it and put it in there, spliced it to the old wiring harness. Well, come to find out, I don't have power back there to the wiring harness due to the fact that TPMS is internally, has an internal circuit on it that you cannot redo. Now, there might be some guys out there that's better than that. I mean, they might be able to solder in a piece. I don't know. I heard a guy doing that on the internet, but that's kind of above what I can do. So what I did, I ran these long leads to the battery, tested everything, make sure it all turns on when the ignition's on. Well, lo and behold, my fuel pump works. So, and you guys are going to hear some ducks and geese in the background. My wife's feeding, but sorry about that. But anyway, but I also want to get my my fuel sending unit to work, so when I turn it on, I know what my fuel level is. Well, so let's go over this. This is the old, or one of the old ones. I'm gonna replace it with a cut the splices a little longer. Okay, so the black one is your ground. This one's the ground for the sending unit. The red one, actually, let's go back to this one here. This is the sending unit itself. So I'll have a ground. I'll hook these two grounds together, and then I will run a pigtail. I'm trying to get this phone right here. Okay, so, and then I'm going to run a pigtail from here over back into my wiring harness, because my sending unit wiring harness actually works. But I'm going to hook it back up to this. But then I'm going to take this red lead right here and run it over to my hot wire. So as soon as I turn my truck on, this pump will work. And you have to have both pumps working at the same time in order for this truck to run right. It doesn't have enough fuel pressure, because the V44 main pump, the way I understand it, runs 3,000 PSI. And then this pump here has about 10 to 15 PSI on it. But in order for this truck to run right, when you're going down the highway and you got a load on it, you have to have both pumps working at the same time. It idles fine without it. So that's why I'm trying to fix all this. Like I said, I don't want to spend the money for a new part, because it's got 325,000 miles on it. So that is kind of where I'm at right now. I'm going to hook all this up. I've already tested it all with all these wires kind of hanging everywhere to make sure it's going to work right. I'm going to hook it back up, set the tank back in there. I will probably bring you guys another video just to let you know. I am gonna cover all these wires. I'm gonna run them up along the rail of the truck, the frame of the truck. I'm actually gonna use this wherever it's at. Oh, this right here. This is just a wire conduit. It's something like, just something you run your wires in. But anyway, guys, like I said, I just wanted to, there's a lot of people on the internet. They couldn't figure out what's going on. Like I said, I'm not the most talented when it comes to electricals on vehicles. However, I know my way around stuff, and I can kind of figure it out in the end. If you got any comments, let me know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Hopefully this helps somebody out in a pinch. And let me know what you guys think, and hopefully this helps you out, and you all have a wonderful day.